Hello guys, welcome back to another YouTube video here today, and today we are coming at you with a brand new build video, and this is HotSwap Cash. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe this video if you guys enjoy this video and the build. And now let's get into the build. So what we are using for the build, we are using the Hot Slugger. So the Hot Slugger is not really being used for damage here. The Hot Slugger is here for when we shoot and reload, so we can easily gain fortune stacks when we freshly spawn in where we don't have any fortune stacks. So this is overall very nice and really good for mobbing. Also, super good for mobbing. Can work for bossing, but it's not using for bossing. Can use it. It does work. And then we are using the impactful extol sunspot. Now this has Torg on it, and this has the energy blast alt fire, and this is what you are looking for. The charge fire and energy burst that deals up to 79,910 damage to nearby enemies. So you really want to be really close with this. But this is a very good gun and overall very powerful. And now we are using the crow source. So when you use the crow source here, you're going to have to hot swap to the slugger. Because if you don't hot swap to the slugger, the damage from the bleed won't be as crazy. But if you swap to the slugger, the damage just becomes ridiculous from bleed. And then we are using the fisheye. This is just overall very good for mobbing. This is just great for mobbing. I've seen it. It can drop with 20k damage. It does come up with 220k damage. It does have that high of a damage, but I haven't gotten that roll yet with 161 crit. It can also drop with a higher crit percentage, like 194. We have 194, I think. We have a higher crit one. This doesn't have Jacobs on it, so we're not using it right here. It can drop with 194% crit, but I don't know if Jacobs actually affects that part or not. So definitely keep your eyes out for a 194% crit one with 18k or even possibly 20k damage. And then for the we're using the crit knife, so we could guarantee proc bleeds. Using the amp replicator, so we can double amp our first shot of our energy, or shot of our energy blast, and we'll just destroy bosses. Then we're using the Genesis power shot of order licensed parts, gain 30% damage when firing maximum charge, gun damage, and gun critical damage, and assault rifle critical damage. And this is the superconductor guardian angel is what we're using. We were using the triple amp guardian angel. This is a very good shield overall. This is a great shield. I recommend picking yourself up one. This thing has super fast recharge rate, and it just gives you constant amp basically all the time. And then we were using the Cracked Gamer. This is overall like one of Cash's best class mods. Gloam is also a really good class mod. Wind Rider, really good class mod. Firmware, we're using 3 Deadeyes, so you get extra gun critical hit damage, and then you get every critical hit grants you 50% more critical stacks, and you get up the maximum stacks of 5 stacks for 10 seconds, which you're always hitting crits, so this is nice. And then we're using 2 airstrikes, so you get splash damage and splash radius. This is really nice. Now you could use high caliber, but the crow does do splash damage. High caliber could be an option. But you could use high caliber over airstrike if you would prefer to. But my preference is airstrike because the crow does do splash damage. So this boosts the crow by a little more than just the gun damage. And then for the skill tree, we are using 4 in fast hands. This is really good. 1 in alchemy, so you gain uh, elemental effect damage chance and chance where you gain fortune stacks. So when we're doing elemental damage, we gain fortune stacks with the pro, and then we're using the trick taker that gives you 35% more elemental damage, which benefits the crow. So this is nice. And then we're using 4 in Sounds of Rain because this gives you extra critical hit chance with guns, action skills, and ordnance. The more fortune stacks you have, the greater the bonus. Then we put 1 in Late Scratch. So now this is when we enter a chance to enter Windfall. This gives you a stack of fortune. This is just overall very, very, very nice. Really good stuff. And then we're using 5 in Payout. So you get 40% more fortune skill bonuses. 5 in Tender Hearts. So you get 80% more crit damage. 1 in Hoss Streak. So you get 25% more crit damage. This is nice. And then we're using 5 in Around the Corner. So you get fortunes. Skill gains increased action skill cooldown rate for every stack. And we're using 5 in Ace and Hole. So you get gun damage and 3.5 fortune per stack. And House of Edge. The reason we're not using House of Edge is because so he only consumes half his fortune stacks, and this doesn't cause you to lose skill when you lose all of your fortune stacks, so you keep your crit skill. So when you're using this, it's just overall very nice because it keeps our crit skill stacked and going. So that's just really good. We don't need the skill, so we need to run 5 and 5 here. And then no limit. Cash gains and max fortune stacks. Fortune stacks have a degrees chance to enter Windfall. Max stacks of fortune is 10, so we put there. 5 in Ante Up, so you get up to 50% gun damage and 20% skill damage. 5 in High Roller, get up to 30% gun damage. Stack deck, fortune skill whenever cash reads his action skill. Increase skill damage, fire rate, and reload speed. Now, we don't really use the action skill, so we're not really benefiting from this a whole lot, but and then we're using Dealer's Buff. So we get whenever Cash gains a fortune, he restores his action skill. So this gives you just more action skill cooldown. And this is just really good because this just benefits your gun damage. So there's more action skill cooldown, the more gun damage you have. So this is overall very good. And then for the specializations, we're using the best defense. So you get 30% damage, shields are full. And then we're using Riddle you this. So you get 1% of gun damage, a maximum stacks of 50. So this is really good. Then we're using Compounding Afflictions. Each enemies take increased damage for each status effect applied to them. So this gives you more damage taken. This is really nice. In the zone, while aiming, the Vault Hunter gains increased gun damage, critical hit damage per second bonuses after 2 seconds of loss of not aiming. So you can use this. So now I really don't like aiming with this gun because build we kind of got on it is kind of jank. This gun isn't so bad, but I didn't do it in any of my recordings. But I mean, if you aim with this gun, shoot, you see how it wasn't hitting too hard with bleed, and then we swapped it to Hot Slugger, and then all of a sudden we got a massive bleed. Yeah, that is pretty insane of a setup. So I hope you guys enjoyed this YouTube video. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.